Hey everyone, and welcome to today's webinar, Success Through Open Houses with MAPS coach Brittany Purcell. Please note that this webinar is being recorded and you will automatically receive the recording within an hour of the call finishing. If you have any questions for your coach, please type them into the questions box located in your webinar taskbar. Following the webinar, if you have any questions about today's call or the coaching program, please email us at fasttrack@kw.com. That is FASTTRACK@kw.com. That's all for me. Brittany, take it away.
Hey guys! All right. Well, I'm really excited to launch this program because I'm more than just a MAPS coach. I love being a MAPS coach. I'm also a team owner up here in Northeast Georgia. And we run a team that operates in a very rural part of North Georgia, and we did over 160 units last year, and a huge part of our business was open houses and all the lead generation that surrounds them. So I have a couple of goals today. My first goal is to make sure that I bring you guys something of value. Some of you may be holding open houses this weekend. I want to give you a couple of tools to help you be successful and grab a few more leads while you're out there. The other goal that I have is, of course, I want to convince you to buy this product and join me in this 4-week course. And there's actually going to be a bonus call at the end. And I'll walk you through some of the other things that we're going to be offering through the course. So I would like to get started, and don't forget to, as you have questions, please add them into that question bar, like she said, to make sure that that I can answer the questions that you actually walked into this session with. So I'll give you guys a start right now. If anybody's holding an open house this weekend, I wanted to give you, number one, a script that I have. It's one of my favorite scripts, and I got it from a buddy. I didn't write it. I've copied it really, really well. And excuse me for 2 seconds. I am at home and I have a cat that just decided she wanted to be a part of the webinar. And so say you guys have an open house that you're holding this weekend and you're about to start lead generating for it. One of the things that I would like for you to do is to prepare yourself to go out into the neighborhood, if there is a neighborhood. And I tell people to go door knock 10 to the left, 10 to the right, and 10 across the street, so that you get 30 doors at minimum knocked every time you hold an open house. Here's the key though, you're not just inviting them to the open house. This is so important because when you go out there to hold an open house, you are one of the top 5% already. You're one of the top 5% realtors who's willing to say, yes, I think open houses are a great idea, when the rest of the world has told all of their neighbors that open houses are silly and they don't actually do anything, etc. So you have communicated to all the neighbors, if you door knock, if you actually do something about it, that you are one of the hardest working realtors in their area, and you
Hey Brittany. Hey Brittany, you paused.
etc.
Can you hear
But the
me?
other, yes.
Sorry, you were frozen and we couldn't hear you for like the past 45 seconds. So if you could roll
I'm
back a
so
little bit, that would be great.
sorry.
No
Where
worries.
did
That's
it
okay.
end? What was the
So
last thing I said?
you're talking about the scripts.
Okay,
You
so I
were
think
talking about it.
Caroline said top 5%. Thank you, Caroline, for being on the ball here. It started raining right when you guys said it froze up, so I think my internet thought that it doesn't know how to handle rain. All right, so you are the top 5% of realtors. When you go out and door knock, because if you're willing to hold an open house and then door knock around an open house, what you're telling all the neighbors around that listing, whether it's your listing or someone else's, is that you are willing to do the work that no one else is willing to do. You are standing out. This is a huge opportunity for you if you're holding an open house. Do not miss the opportunity to door knock. It is the best thing that you can possibly do. So here's what I was going to say is your script. When you're holding an open house, you do want to go and meet the neighbors. You want to door knock and you want to tell them who you are, why you're door knocking, why you have an open house, that you're really excited, that you're curious if they know anyone thinking about coming into the neighborhood, blah, blah, blah. I want you to do the small talk and have the great conversation. And then before you leave, I want you to do this. This is key, guys. This is really key. This is where you should have your pen and paper available to you. The script is, and imagine your body moving in on this with me, okay? I'm not sure if you're aware, but a couple of your neighbors have asked me for a home value, and I do those for free. Would you like to be in on that list? I'll do it again for you. I'm not sure if you're aware, but a few of your neighbors have asked me for a home value. I do those for free. Would you like to be in on that list? There's a couple of things in that script that are really, really important. Number one is I'm not sure if you're aware, but, and you can feel yourself wanting to lean in when somebody uses this expression. You guys have used this expression in many other ways, right? The power of language is so important here. I'm not sure if you're aware, but, and pull them in, okay? The second part of this is now some of their other neighbors have asked for this, and there's an inclusive factor, and you've offered something of value for free. Whenever you offer this, there's a second stage of the conversation, right? If somebody says, no, I'm good, thanks. You go, okay, great. If you change your mind, here's my card, and we'd still love to see you at the open house. I know some of the neighbors really like to get a look at what their competition is if they ever sell, or take a look at the upgrades, right? And so you bond, you move on, you go to the next house. Now, for the key people who say, yeah, I'd love to be on that list, can I get a free home value? What you're gonna do is you're gonna have two options. You go, yeah, great, awesome, let me grab your contact information. You already know the house, confirm the house number, go, what was your name again? Great, what's your email address? What's your phone number? Okay, great. Now I have two options. When I run a home value, I have two different ways I can do this. Number one is I can either do like the computer generated one, it just spits it out really quick, it pulls some comps, it's kind of similar to a Zestimate, right? However, if you are interested in selling in the next 6 months, then probably the best thing for me to do is to take a quick tour of the house so I have a really good idea of what I'm actually running comps for. And then it would be me running the comparable sales. Which of those two options do you want? Now you have a chance to find out what their true motivation is and find out, are they curious? Great, they're gonna go into nurture, they're gonna go into command, they're gonna get on a drip plan, you're gonna check in with them every once in a while, but they just wanted the quick report. Easy peasy, and in the course I'll teach you how to do that through resources that you already have through KW. And then if they say they want the extra valuation, super easy, great. Would you mind if I come in now just for a quick tour? You can show me around, I'll take some notes. And it's almost like a pre-listing appointment. You get a chance to start bonding with them and doing your pre-qualification right there. So that is number one. That is probably the most valuable nugget that I could give away to you right now. I can't give away the whole course, but I know that you guys will find value in that you'll go out there and you'll implement that this weekend. For those of you who are holding open houses, it's the I'm not sure if you're aware, but script. It's what I call it. All right, any questions about that script before I move on to another piece? I want to give you guys another tool that we use in our open houses that encourages people to actually want to talk to us. Any questions? Do you see any questions? I see one about a recording. Yes, you'll get a recording of this.
Nope, that's the only question I see right now.
Okay. All right. I can't tell if I can see all of it or just some of it in my little screen. So I just wanted to make sure. All right. Another thing that we're going to be bringing before I give you the next value add, the thing that you're going to see in this course, number one, is documented systems and forms. Most of us got into real estate because we are people, not because we are paper people. And I have worked with such an amazing team that all of our systems are documented and put together in such a way that anyone on your team can follow them checklist by checklist, item by checklist item. And it makes it a little bit easier to streamline your own your operations manual, your guidelines, your training. I think this is going to be a really great course, especially for either single agents or mega agents. Mega agents specifically because they're hiring buyer's agents, and the buyer's agents are coming in and going, do I just put a sign in the yard? Do I, sit in the house? No. No, 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 no. We're not going to put a sign in the yard and just sit at the house. It's a complete waste of a Saturday or Sunday, right? We're going to make sure we give you all the systems and tools to maximize this. I don't know if I've told anybody or if I've put it in any of the advertisement or not. Our goal every time we hold an open house is to make sure that we generate 3 additional quality leads from every single open house. And so that's going to be how we make sure that you guys get the tools and focus on 2 different kinds. As you guys just heard from what I was sharing before, one of those types of leads is sellers in the neighborhood who are thinking about selling, right? All right, my next favorite tip that I would love to give you guys is, this is such a simple one, and I'm going to start talking about Keller Mortgage here for a minute. And some of you on the phone or on the webinar may be doubters. You may not want to use Keller Mortgage. You may not have used them yet. You may have heard all kinds of things, or maybe they're not in your market yet, etc. It doesn't matter. You might have a little, what Diana calls a little drunk monkey talking over your shoulder, telling you whether it's going to work or not in your market. It's irrelevant. It doesn't matter. This lead generation source really helps us in our open houses, and it is phenomenal, and it's so easy. So all you have to do is go on Amazon or whatever purchasing place of your choice and order a bunch of 5x7 or 8x10 frames. They don't have to be fancy. They don't have to be, glorious. They can just be black frames, gray frames, white frames, doesn't matter. And you are going to create a little picture in Word that's about 5x7 big that says, if you'd like to know more about special financing on this home, please come talk to our on-site agent, or please see our on-site agent. Now, if you guys are like me, you have sat in an open house and you have watched people come in and you ask them a question, you ask them a script. By the way, we're going to give you guys better scripts in this program too. But you start to talk to them and they go, we're good, we're just looking, we're just neighbors, we're just whatever, it's for my aunt, right? They come up with whatever story they need to say, I'm not interested and I don't want to talk to you. Well, the best way to get them to talk to you is to give them something of value they can't get anywhere else. You're not going to put it on a flyer and hand it to them. You're not going to put it on the sign and give it to them driving by that they can just take a picture of it. They have to come and talk to you if they want to know about the special financing. And if you don't already know about the special financing that Keller Mortgage offers, you need to go check it out. Before you register for our group program, I would definitely advise that you go on, I think it's kellermortgage.com, and go and register yourself, sign up, watch the videos, educate yourself on it, because when those people do come and talk to you, because by the way, they'll be standing in line waiting to talk to you, because what you're going to do with those picture frames, I forgot to say, is you're going to put those picture frames in the places where people spend the most time when touring homes. Anybody on the phone already knows what that is. That's the kitchens and bathrooms. So you're going to make yourself 5 to 10 of those to carry around at all times for your open houses. And you're going to put those puppies up. By the way, I'm Southern if you haven't figured it out yet. And you're going to put them up in the bathrooms and in the kitchen before you start your open house, so that while they're walking around the open house, they're seeing these little signs everywhere and they're going, man, I got to find out what that special financing is. There's no lender fees. There's closing cost credits, and it's all exclusive to people working with you through Keller Mortgage. So it is special financing on that home, and you have something of value to offer, and now you have an excuse to keep them in the house and get them talking to you. So it's one of my favorite little things to do. All right, who has some questions about what you're hoping to get out of the course and wondering if you're going to get it? Some questions about anything that I've shared, anything. Do we have any questions? I'm looking at these. Can you recommend an open house software to register attendees? Actually, you don't have to get that that doesn't have to be super complicated. There are some CRMs that offer you a landing page right away, and I'm positive that that's on the definite list for Command as well. So I'll be looking out for that and adding that to the labs as well. It can be as simple though as a Google form. If any of you use a free Gmail account, you can go in, and or if you use your Keller Williams Gmail account, you can go into Google Drive and set up what's called a Google form. And we will talk a little bit about that, a little bit more in depth of what to do with that, how to make it look pretty, that kind of thing in the course. And then you can carry around either an iPad or a laptop to the open house with you and go ahead and have that registration screen on the screen and ask them to register through that. If you do it through Google Forms, you can actually have it where it automatically will feed to a spreadsheet. And once you're finished with your open house, if you have a ton of registrations and it's too hard to hand put them in, data entry, you can just export that and import it right into whatever CRM you want to use it in. So I hope that helps, Greg. That's a free option. I'm really big on free options. Can we see one of the frames, how they look like? Absolutely. I'll be bringing copies of that into the training course and giving you guys some ideas right in there. How do I feel about seller feedback forms? My honest opinion is your job is to be there to generate leads, possibly for either that seller or for potential business in the future. Seller feedback forms feels like one more thing that a person has to do, but I would take notes. I would bring it as part of the conversation that you're having with buyers. Hey, by the way, compared to what else you've seen, what do you think of the price? What do you think of the curb appeal? What do you think of blah, 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 and take that feedback to the seller. I do find that the feedback forms though, and I can't scroll fast enough, and I don't want to mess with the system, but my favorite time to use a feedback form is actually at a broker's meeting, like a broker's open house, where you're just inviting real estate agents. And what'd you say?
Oh, I was just going to say, would you like me to read off the questions for you?
Yeah, that'd be great.
Okay. So you want to move on to the next one?
Sure.
Okay, perfect. How do you address people pulling up to an open house and checking the details online before they decide if they want to come in and tour the home? Is chasing them down the street an unprofessional approach?
It depends on how hot it is outside, right? How many sweat stains you want before you walk in, walk back into your open house. I really think that there's going to be people like that. They have the chance to Google this information, and if they want to move on, they want to move on. I would encourage you to find some type of, especially if it's your listing, to find some type of sign or service that allows people to get information by texting. Because if they can text and get the information, then you at least captured something. That would probably be my best solution. We already have those out to each one of our listings, and we get a good number of leads from that as well. But I wouldn't be so worried. If they decided to drive by, they decided to drive by. I probably wouldn't spend much time worrying about it. That's just me. If it's an empty open house and you feel like running, go for it.
The next question is, will you be sharing scripts of what has worked to get attendees to stop and converse with agents?
Yes. We will be talking about scripts. We'll be talking about etiquette. We'll even be talking about dress code and how to invite people, and then objection handlers and all kinds of fun stuff to set you guys up for success. Yes, ma'am. Or sir.
Awesome. His name was Nick. So Brittany's asking, what do you say to people when they first walk in the door? Do you approach them?
I'm actually going to hold that one a secret because we've got a really great script for that, and I'm going to hold that off until the actual course, because we're going to practice that together, and it's really powerful.
All right, so that was the end of the question. So if you would like to move on.
Awesome. Well, I want to give you guys a breakdown for how I see this course going so that you have a good idea of what we're going through. The only way to do this that I could find to organize it the best way of my ability was to talk about prepping for the open house, like how to get ready, how to think about it, what you need to do before you actually hold the open house. Are there any things that you need to buy? Are there any things that you need to stock yourself with? Or what is it that you need to be considering before the open house, as well as communication to the seller? If you're not the listing agent, what type of communication do you need to be having with the listing agent themselves so that you can get ready for this open house? We'll also be talking about some strategies on how to get more people there. I know one of the biggest struggles for a lot of people is knowing when to hold an open house, what house to hold it at, and then what can you do to make sure that people actually come. And I'm going to be talking through that as well, making sure that you get attendance, because I mean, it only takes one good lead to make an open house great, and we want more than just one opportunity to close some business and use this as leverage. And, you know, we talk about it in the sales pitch, and I'll be talking about it a lot in the program. Something to really understand is I am very passionate about going from E to P, entrepreneurial to purposeful. I do not like to waste time. First open house I ever sat, I went, this is not for me. If this is what this is going to look like, I cannot just sit here in silence and hope and pray that somebody shows up. I can't do that, right? And so I wanted to make sure that I was following a plan that got people there and that converted the people that were there as well, and that we maximized every opportunity to generate more business. My hope is that you will take the tools and implement them at a really high level. So every listing you take, you can generate 3 more potential sales, you know, families to serve off of that one open house. We will talk about the next episode, the next session will be after prepping for the open house, will be lead generation before the open house, different tactics on working with both buyers and sellers, or attracting buyers and sellers, what to say, how to say it, how to put it on social media, how many signs to put out, where to put the signs, who to tell about. I mean, like all the things for lead generation before the open house. So we're prepping you there. It'll be 3 full weeks. It'll take us until the 3rd week before we actually dig into what do you do at the open house, physically at the open house, when to show up, what to wear, how to get people to register, and like they were talking about earlier, like what kind of form and how do I do a form and where do I go to figure that out. I won't spend a ton of time like breaking down the logistics, but I will send you guys to the right places so that you can figure out how to have your own registration forms very, very easily. I'll give you scripts, what to say, what's the first thing you say when they walk in the door, what do you say when they say certain things back, etc. How to manage it if you suddenly get a lot of people. We'll talk about that, and we'll talk about how to close up an open house and how to budget your day. How do you determine your schedule throughout the day of an actual open house? Is it just from 2 to 4 or 2 to 6, or do you budget time before or you budget time after? And the very last thing is we will be going over what happens after the open house. That is a huge piece of leading, of doing an open house, is not just did I do a good job before and during, it's what did I do after? What are we going to do with the leads that came through? What are we going to do with the house? I mean, what do you do etiquette-wise to close up an open house? What do you communicate to the seller? What do you not communicate to the seller? How do you leave the house? And specifically, how to follow up with the people that registered and came in that day, and how to earn their business either now or in the future. We will be doing a bonus call. Almost forgot about that. At the very end, I will be giving you guys a bonus call. So technically this is 5 weeks of calls. That last one will be only on safety. We will be talking about how to protect yourself, how to make sure that somebody knows where you are at all times, how to handle yourself in times of distress. I'm a formal martial artist. I grew up in a karate studio, and I've learned a lot about self-defense and protecting yourself. And a lot of times it's about making sure that you're not even in harm's way. And so I'm going to be bringing some of that plus best practices I've learned from others through this great career of real estate. So you guys are going to get it all. You're going to get our entire systems plus some, everything that I reviewed to write this course. I always saw opportunity for improvement. And so we found some ways to improve it as well. And then we're going to make sure that you're safe and productive at your open houses. And I think that's about it, unless anybody's added any other questions.
We have a couple questions. So Nicole is asking, how do you recommend getting internet traffic to your open house? Do you make a Facebook event or just update the agent remarks in the MLS?
We've got a couple of different ways, and I'll point a lot of those out. Here's what I would advise you, Nicole, is to think, I want you to pretend like you're a buyer this weekend, and I want you to start searching for open houses yourself. In your market, I want you to start like Googling it, looking it up, checking with people, and find out, how did you find out about the open houses? Call your friends that hold open houses that are realtors and say, when people come to your open house, where do they say that they heard about it from? And that's going to be your trick to finding out, how do I get people in there? We found a secret in our area. It's so bizarre, and it may be happening everywhere. But if we share the event and the link to the property in yard sale groups on Facebook, yard sale groups, guys, I don't understand. I don't know why, but we're getting traffic from posting it in there. And we're getting a ton of traffic to our website. We're getting a lot of people Facebook messaging us, and we're realizing like we're getting buyer leads from Facebook, and you might call that Facebook, but they wouldn't have commented if we weren't advertising that open house. So there's a couple of different ways, but that's the first thing that I would ask you to do in your market, is to go and pretend that you're a buyer and try to figure out, where are those buyers finding the open houses, and that would be where I make sure that I put my stuff, because every market can be a little bit different.
Awesome. So the next question is from Cameron. What does the environment look like at an open house? Do you play music, do drawings, etc.? Trying to think of unique ways to create a fun yet still professional open house environment.
I love the idea of quiet acoustic music playing, although I've never had it. And Cameron, you just challenged my thinking around that. I'm the kind of person who likes to work in silence, so I'm not the best person to ask about that all the time. But I think if you had like a little Bluetooth speaker and maybe some like Spotify playing on in the background, or Pandora, of a good acoustic vibe going on, I will tell you, out of all my years of selling real estate, my clients had the best reaction to a house. I mean, 12 years and a lot of homes sold, and the best reaction I still remember was when the wife had cooked chocolate chip cookies right before, and they were still warm and sitting on the counter, and the whole house smelled like fresh baked chocolate chip cookies. Other than fresh baked chocolate chip cookies, I would never fill a house with any scents or aromas, but there is something about those chocolate chip cookies that got us. So I don't have any drawings that we do or anything like that. We just try to create a really warm, welcoming environment with our personalities, the questions that we ask, and we attempt to be really welcoming and asking great questions so that we encourage them to talk to us. So other than that, I might take that Bluetooth speaker idea though and add it to the course.
Awesome, thanks, Brittany. So the next question is from Sue. How long is your follow-up instruction for? A week or right after only? Does it include emails and texts as well?
It doesn't end. That's the beautiful thing, is that ours never ends until somebody actually says, like, take me off of this, I already bought the house, or whatever. Our relationship with them never ends, because we do consider it a relationship. And the immediate response is over the next 30 days. However, we continue to have a drip campaign for them that is geared just towards them that I'll be bringing up to you guys. And it's fairly simple as well. Simple, not easy.
Oh, she said, I meant your package. How long is your follow-up instruction for? Yeah, she said, I meant your package. Sorry, Sue, would you mind clarifying that a little bit more? Are you talking about the program? Oh, she's talking about the program. How long is the Sorry, Sue.
Oh, Sue, I'm gonna try to answer based on what I'm seeing. the course is going to be 4 weeks long, and the calls, depending on the topic, range between like 45 minutes to an hour. So 45 minutes is the instruction, and then 15 minutes for question and answer at the very end. And then, so there'd be 4 total weeks of that is essentially what you're paying for. And then you have that one extra bonus call. So it makes it a total of 5, but it's 5 total calls. And as far as follow-up, there probably won't be a ton of follow-up, but I am here if you need me. I'm here and I'm available. I'm a MAPS coach, and I coach top performers across the country. I'm available to answer your questions as well as you guys are implementing this information. So, and I think the program, how long does the program stay up for them in whatever software we're using right now? Like once we do it, how long do they have to keep going back and listening to it?
So the program will be available to everybody who purchases it for 60 days following the final webinar. So for 2 months after the program ends.
Okay, and so soon, like if you want to continue watching it and becoming better and mastering each piece of it, because we will be going over a lot of information, you'll have access to it for 60 days after that. Hope that helps. Awesome. Anything else?
I don't see any questions on my end.
All right. I trust that you guys all got some value from today, and I encourage you to enroll in the course. I'm really excited to be teaching this material and bringing you guys something that's going to really open up and explode your business. So if you could you tell them the link again that you were telling me? I'm sorry, I didn't have it written down. I just wrote down your email.
No worries. So if you go to mapscoaching.com/group, the program will be right there, and it's towards the top of the page, so it's quite easy to find for everybody.
Awesome. Yeah, I went on this site the other day. I went to group coaching, and there was a search bar because I was having a little trouble finding something. And if you just go into the search bar and search open house, it is the only one that is open house geared right now. So that should make it a little bit easier too if you're fumbling like I do sometimes. So, all right, I think that's it.
Thanks, everyone.